get nice things. 3, 2, 1. That was anticlimactic. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 28 of the Showerpodcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host, Chip, and it's currently 12:04. But as you can see, I feel very nice and I'm very happy to do this episode right now because it was part of my plan. I have done everything that I wanted. Let's say tonight I'm also very happy because I got tickets for summer vacation. So I'm in a very good mood. And speaking of nice things, I was just inspired by a very silly video that I just watched about a British guy praising a $60 manual espresso machine where he was, let's say, underlining how fantastic and how cheap good things are getting. And this is something that I have to say I think quite often about because, let's say, growing up, I didn't always have the chance to get the nicest things. I always, let's say, looked to get the best thing I could get. And I will, let's say, throw some terms in a bit about that. But let's say I never liked cheap stuff by itself, not because it was cheap, but because of the consequences of getting cheap stuff. They break, they're not reliable, and they make the experience very frustrating. And this is the bit where maybe I want to, let's say, define the episode around. And that is this feeling of frustration when you get stuff that it's not that nice or it's not good. The moment that, for example, to me, it happened a lot of times with used stuff, where the deal and the opportunity was very good to get something used. And so I went for it. But due to the fact that it was used and not new, even though it was something that potentially could have been nice, it wasn't in the condition that I really wanted it. And it made it a bit, let's say, uncomfortable. And this is one example, but the thing that it's stuck in my mind that I will always, let's say, remember is that the moment that I switched to AirPods from my regular, let's say, Bluetooth earbuds, the thing that changed my perception is that with the old ones, I always had connection issues. I had, let's say, drop-offs in distance. And even though the experience itself when I was using the headphones was amazing, so, in the moment I had no problem with it, the more I used them, the more these little things started bothering me, let's say, in a very pressing way. And the moment that I managed to upgrade and get something that at the moment was very expensive, but I started using and just being amazed of how all these frustrations that I had suddenly disappeared. So I was able to enjoy the product for what it was. And that realization got me, I was like, okay, so there is a way to enjoy this kind of stuff, let's say, freely. You just have to get something nice. But at the same time, I also had experiences where, for example, I was speaking coffee machines, but this coffee machine that I have right here, yeah, there is the kitchen. It's kitchen area because it's open. Anyways, it was very, very cheap from Lavazza, like 70 euros maybe. It's one with pods, so you just put pods in it. They're also, I usually get them very cheap. And I do like coffee, and I am, let's say, when in social environments, I do tend to make a lot of comments about the coffee that I drink. But because mostly I know how I like it, if it's watery, if it has a burnt feeling, or if it goes into Americano space, so too long, it's just a big no for me. And this thing does, let's say, what I want with, let's say, if you had to give it a mark, 6.5, 7 maybe. But that is more than enough, that it's perfect for my needs. And this is perfect. Like I thought about what if I got a super nice espresso machine, and if you look up the cost, you're like, okay, that's very expensive. If you want to get the proper stuff, it gets in the thousands, and you're like, yeah, but I can get I can get a coffee for what, a tenth of that? Is it really worth it? And the point that also the guy was making in the video, and it's probably, let's say, the only point in which it gets difficult, it's about sustainability. I am not, let's say, actively involved in that, but I do try my best in normal circumstances to be as sustainable as possible. Am I doing the best job? Of course not. And again, I would be lying if I said that it's something that it's super dear to me, or I would give my life for it. No. But at the same time, again, wherever I can, I do seem fit. I, let's say, do my best not to, let's say, to be sustainable. And with electronics, there is a big discussion around that, because electronics got extremely cheap. And the problem with that is that 8 times out of 10, it is way more sustainable for a business to make a cheap product that it's non-repairable, that you just throw away and make you buy a new one, than to have, let's say, products that are meant to be let's say, taken care of, and that can deliver the same kind of performance down the line. And these kind of products really make it hard to, let's say, stick to this sustainable goal that one has, because at the end, you say, okay, but if it breaks, I'll just throw it away and get a new one. Like the stress and not having to make sure I'm keeping it well, making sure that I use proper materials on it, making sure that I'm buying all the right things for that specific model because I want it to last 10 years. It's a lot of work for when you have the easy alternative of just saying, hey, if it breaks, just get a new one. I had a discussion with a friend that when I was at his home, we had dinner, and he put basically everything into the dishwasher. And it's like, man, but why do you put them in there? Like, they're gonna get damaged. It was like, I don't care. Like, I didn't get them of too much quality. So if they break, I'll just get new ones. And I was like, yeah, I guess. But is it, again, really the most sustainable thing? No, but, I think maybe the solution stands a bit in the middle. So I would say, if you can, and if you have the chance, get nice things. Get things that are sustainable and support an industry that it's doing things properly. But if you're put in a situation where the budget is really tight and you see products like that give you 80% of what you would get with a sustainable one, but you cannot afford it, it's still better to get into it with that product, appreciate everything that goes around it, and upgrade eventually to something nice. Because I do really believe that once you get into something and you care about it, then you'll make that step. Then you'll start caring about that ecosystem. But before that, it's better to, let's say, start slow and ramp up to something properly than skip completely the thing just because you couldn't afford the very amazing and super, let's say, the premium model of the thing that you're trying to get. So yeah, that was my take on taking and buying nice things. Really do it. It's worth it if you can. And again, I really underline that, let's say, starting low and going up, it's always better than getting immediately something premium or skipping a hobby or an interest because you think that you need the most premium thing to be able to enjoy something. It's not true. This is like a guarantee. Trust me on that. Anyway, episode 28 is over. Thank you very much for listening, and see you at the next one.